Taurus season does not want us to get too comfortable yet. We've got a Scorpio full moon ready to take us to our depths. All right, so here's our full moon chart for April 23rd, 2024. This is going down at 4 degrees Scorpio in 17 minutes. And this is happening on April 23rd, 2024 at 7:48 p.m. Eastern Time. So adjust for your time zones. You may hear some kids enjoying themselves downstairs. Realize it's probably not on par with the Scorpio energy. So let me take us, let's go deep, because this full moon is actually really intense. I always look forward to the power and potency of the Scorpio full moon. I feel it's so abundant in an emotional sense. Like it really just kind of expands our inner dimensions. Thinking about a full moon in a water sign, it tends to be a very emotional moon. This is going to draw the waters forth and allow us to like pick them apart, to be able to like take a magnifying glass to our emotional dimension, basically. So there's going to be a lot of waterworks on this full moon. This full moon is in a square with Pluto, which adds a raw intensity to the entire lunation. Pluto says, we can't just live on the surface. We have to go deeper. We have to excavate everything that's kind of like hidden beneath. Like, let's see what's under there. Let's excavate the richness that lives beneath the soil. So when we think about Pluto, it's like it's usually pretty painful. Like it's usually not gentle or easy with Pluto, the level of uprooting, but we get so much out of it. So it's uncomfortable with Pluto because it forces us to see our shadow. It forces us to see the way that we're kind of like operating unconsciously. What is calling the shots? What is contributing to the way that we act? What is contributing to our protective mechanisms? What is contributing to our complexes? Pluto wants to expose all of that. And once we're able to identify our patterning, there is a wealth that comes from that because we actually get more control from it when we're able to grab the reins of the way we've sort of been operating unconsciously. It's a whole thing. Like those mechanisms that we use to cope are also forms of trying to control something. So Pluto is all about how we try to control, how we try to protect, how do we try to just function in a world. So yeah, not the lightest and brightest of lunations. Ideally, coming out of eclipse season, like this is our first lunation that we have after that big Aries eclipse. So usually we want a moon that brings a little bit more serenity, but this one does not. This one says, let's look at the problems. Let's talk about this. Let's get dirty. Let's get muddy. Let's get messy. So let yourself unravel a little bit. Because if you can do that, you're going to find strength in a way that you haven't before. Now, especially if you have planets in the early degrees of the fixed signs, especially if you are in the middle of a big old Pluto transit right now. Actually, you're probably just at the beginning at 2 degrees here. But anyhow, this full moon is really going to catapult that story and illuminate that for you. If you've been on your own healing journey, if you're in your own healing process, this is going to show you some stuff. If you're in therapy right now, this full moon can really accelerate and bring some big breakthroughs, especially since we're just coming off of this Jupiter-Uranus aspect, which can bring really powerful illuminations that help us shake off and break free from things that are preventing us from living our best life. So we really see this intensity of Scorpio and this ability to embrace the ugly, this ability to embrace what is going on behind the scenes, what is underneath. Let's go to the depths, Scorpio. And Taurus, which is saying, yeah, but let's also just enjoy. If we're always looking too deeply at things, we're always going to be miserable. So this polarity is really highlighted here of, in order for me to have the kind of joy I want, I have to do this deeper work, or I have to address this deeper issue. I have to look at something a little deeper in order for me to have the serenity that I crave. Because Taurus is a very loving sign. And so this aspect in our Taurus house wants us to open up to new thresholds of what's possible in order to have security and joy. But this full moon is saying, okay, what's standing in my way? Let's look at it, no matter how much I hate to look at it. On a collective level, I think this is going to kind of be playing off some of the things I was saying about like the finance sector with Jupiter Uranus is saying like, we want free from this. Like this could be a revolution of some kind, like people protesting saying like the cost of food is too high, the cost of housing is too high. I mean, this is like Pluto square to Pluto, or the moon square to Pluto is just saying like, yeah, we can't carry on like that anymore. We can't just pretend like everything is okay. That's the other side of the coin, is a lot of times we do pretend everything is okay just to get through the day, because tomorrow's going to be tomorrow. But this Scorpio full moon is saying like, no, these are really big problems, and we have to look at this as a society. So Pluto could kind of highlight like secrets, themes of violation, themes of manipulation and control. And on a collective level, the moon in Scorpio highlights some level of neglect, some level of a lack of nourishment for the people. And so looking at Pluto, like what force is in our way of that? So yeah, I think that this lunation may bring up some of that, because again, like Taurus is the things that we always counted on to be there, like going to the grocery store. And Uranus and the eclipses kind of sent prices wild, like unreasonable levels. And so this might be saying like, we need to get to the bottom of this. We need to stop this. And Pluto is like the powers that be. So on a personal level, I see this being like a very insightful lunation. It's going to bring a lot of stuff out into the open. I would just inspire you to have the courage to see what's being shown, feel the feelings, let that shit out, but then look for the breakthrough. Look for the exit door. Like, how do I rise above this? Because Jupiter Uranus is saying we want to rise above, we want to create more possibilities. And those are there in Taurus, co-present with the sun, to help us do that. So that's a little bit about this full moon in Scorpio. It's gonna be a big one. It's gonna be a heavy one at first, but hopefully there's that liberating quality of insightfulness that once we see our shadow, we realize, oh, it's just my shadow. That's still me. I got this. The other thing I really wanted to add about this full moon is that it's ruled by Mars. Mars is in an exact opposition with Lilith, autonomy, especially her connection with sexual freedom, and Neptune applying to Neptune, which is like pharmaceuticals and things like that. And it's kind of moving away from Saturn, which could be like the attempts to limit. So I wonder if we're going to hear something about that, about this big Supreme Court decision around this time. Like, will there be some kind of leak? Again, with these themes of control, we've seen on previous Scorpio lunations, I think it was an eclipse in Scorpio, actually, where we had the leak that they were going to overturn Roe. So we've already seen this show up. Um, so I'm wondering if we'll have like some kind of other leak that tells us otherwise. I'm hoping, like I said, that the decision to not overturn the availability of this drug will remain, just because of the helpful trine with Jupiter, Uranus, trine Lilith. But because Mars is in an opposition with it, and just the heavy nature of the Scorpio lunation, I wonder if there will be something that drops that gives us reason to question. Like, are they going to do that? Is there something else that says maybe they will? So I think we'll have more information as we go through, but I do think that will be a topic. Reproductive freedom and women's health care is going to be an important topic here around this lunation. So anyways, that's your astrology shot for the day. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. Thanks so much for tuning in with me today. For more astrology in your world, you can connect with me on all platforms at Astro Catherine. You can also head on over to my website, catherineurban.com, where you can book your next astrology reading. We'll go into depth into your natal chart, your progressions, your profections, your solar return, your transits, and beyond. You can also join my mailing list, where you can stay up to date with me on new classes as well as article drops. I look forward to connecting with you, and I'll see you next time.